Hey, what's up, folks? I want to give you a quick tutorial on how the song release process works. How do you get your work from in your studio and then released out into the world? Let me show you how I do it. 5 steps, really technically 4, but this is what has worked for me over the 4 projects that I have done. So the first thing you do in the song release process is you have to create the song, you write the lyrics and the music, you record the songs, you mix them down to the best of your ability, then you send them out to be mastered so the tracks can have the best quality. Usually, I do MP3s, but the new way is to use WAV files that are audio lossless to improve sound quality. I use a company called Lander as my mastering company. I pay a flat yearly fee. Wow, that's a tongue twister. If I do lo-fi MP3s, it's covered in my yearly subscription, which is about $30 for the year. If I do high quality MP3s, they cost me $5 per tracks. So if I have an album with 10 songs and I do high quality, that's $50. If I do WAV files, they cost $10 per track. So that same $10, per track for 10 songs, that's $100. You can buy the $200 a year subscription and you get unlimited access to all of that. Because I'm not doing volume, okay? If I did volumes, if I was releasing every couple of months, I was doing an album, then I would definitely take the subscription. But what works for me is the $30 fee, and I use low-fi MP3s, which sound great, because what you find today, you don't see people like this sitting in studios listening to music the way I love to. They're listening to it on their crappy little phones. They listen to it on their beat-up systems in their car. You come to my car be thumping. It's got a sound system equal to what I got here. So sometimes I think we work so hard to make the sound incredible, and we spend all this money for all this stuff that the average person ain't really doing. It's really for us high quality audio files. So you have to balance out what you think works for you, okay? Number 2, now that you've created all your work and you've got it together, now you have to do distribution and get it out into the world. Back in the old days, that's what the record label was for, because the artist was signed to the label and then the labels had the distribution network. Well, the internet has changed that game. That's what has happened to the music model. That's why it's changed dramatically. So for distribution, after I get my tracks the way I want them, I upload them to my distribution company, and my distribution company is called DistroKid. Just as there are many mastering services out there, there are many distribution companies. They have CD Baby. Oh God, I can't think of them off the top of my head, but I started using DistroKid and I like them, so I have stayed with them since 2020. And then what they do is they take your music and they then upload it and release it to all the major digital platforms, places like Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Amazon, you name it. So they have access to all those folks, and that's how your music gets out into the world. Your songs will be given an IRSC code, which is like a social security number for your songs. And this is great to use when you're ready to do your publishing, because this way it allows you a way to track that stuff. So what I try to do when I'm sending my music to my distribution company is, I want to have a target release date. And you want to be minimum a week away from that release date. But if you've never done it before, you have no digital footprint in the world. So you need to be 2-3 weeks out. And I would actually suggest you be 3 weeks out, because this way they start linking you to those places. Since I'm already established, they have a quicker footprint for me. As soon as I get it to them, usually within a week, my stuff is ready to go to all those places. The first time I did it, it was a little bit over 2 weeks before they really got my stuff in places. So make sure you give yourself time to get the work out there. The third step is now you want to register your songs, okay? You want to register your songs at www.copyright.gov. That's the United States Copyright Office. Again, let me say that to you. It's www.copyright.gov under your account that you would create. So depending on what type of registration you would use, so usually for the performing works, you can register 2 to 20 songs for one project. And the reason you want to do that is because it's cheaper when you're doing it as a bundle. So I use the sound recording one, and it covers songs and lyrics. You try to do this before releasing the project, because if you do that, you can release it as an unpublished group of works, and it's cheaper. The first time I did it was about $60, $65. Now it's up to about $85. So for the last project I did, I had nine songs, maybe 9 or 10 songs. I was able to release them. I was able to register those for $85 as a block of songs. Okay. If it was published, let's say I had already took those songs and released them into the world, now I'm doing my copyright after the fact, then it costs you more because that falls into a different bucket. So when I upload the songs, when I register, I keep saying upload. When I register the songs for the copyright, what you do is if you have lyrics, you can get all your lyrics together in Word documents, and you can send the Word document with all the lyrics. You will then send files, whether they're MP3, whether they're waves, however you have that music, you send that along with it. You can even send the cover art with it. Anything that's attached to that project, you send to the copyright office. All that stuff is there, and now you have a way for it to be tracked, so that folks, if they need to, use your music, there's a way for you to track it down, okay? And the cool thing is after a couple of months, you'll get a letter in the mail, and it'll be the form. It'll be your copyright form. This is one of the big thrills in my life is you're sitting home, all of a sudden you get the mail, and it comes through, and it lists the copyright, lists your work, lists, the songs, who you are. It is, other than walking on stage and grabbing a Grammy, that's a nice thrill to have also, okay? The fourth step is now you should register your songs at a PRO. That's a performing rights organization, aka ASCAP, your BMIs. Those are those folks. And this is their function. This is the organization that is out there to collect your performance royalties. This is where that IRSC code comes in, because now, again, that's the social security number or the digital footprint for that song. So let's say if that song gets placed in a commercial, placed in a movie, somebody wants to cover your song, that's how they can find it, identify it, and find out who you are as the owner of that song. So that's the wonderful thing about it. You can go in as a artist or a performer, and you can also be a publishing company. So it's a little complex in how that works. I'm gonna just try to give you the high level view. So the way copyrights work is half of the song is for the songwriters, and the other half is for the publisher. So they consider those 50% buckets, if you will. Instead of it just being 100% make it easy for everybody, they make it 50-50. So if I write the song and I publish the song, 50% of the song I get is the songwriter, 50% I get is the publishing. That's how I would own the song. If two of us write the song, so we have to take that 50% of the songwriter, split it. So one person gets 25%, I would get 25%, that makes up the 50, and then the 50% also would go to the publishing if I'm the publisher. So now I get 25% as the songwriter, 50% as the publisher. Now I get 75% of that song, but whoever co-wrote the song with me will get their 25% of it, okay? So it's a lot deeper than that. I'm just giving you the 50,000-foot view just to give you some things to think about. You got to go do a lot more deep dive and heavier research if you really want to understand it to that level. That's why the lawyers are out there, because it gets a little convoluted. And the fifth and final step, which is really not a step at all, but it's the publishing administration. The publishing administration is that other 50%. I told you half of the song is the songwriter, the other half is the publishing. If you have your own publishing company, those are the folks that keep track of the copyright of the song itself and to ensure that those payments are going to the right place. And when you do it yourself, you're responsible for all that. If you have an administrator that handles that, then they do that for you. And that's that behind the scenes stuff that happens in order for you as the artist to get proper accrediting for your work if it's placed in places where there is ability for you to get revenue generated for your music. So it's not that hard, right? It's just some processes you got to follow to make sure you get yourself out there. So again, let me just recap so I can make sure that you have it. For the song release process, the way I do it, it is 5 simple steps. Number 1, you create the song and all the music and everything, you record it, you mix it down, and then you get it mastered so you can have the best quality tracks that you have available for distribution. Okay? The second step is the distribution. Now you take that music that you have, and now you're going to send it out to your distribution company because they are the folks who have the ability now to get it out into the universe and send it to all those digital platform places who then put your music out where it can be consumed by the consumer. Okay, as I said, I use Lander, and you can, I said Lander, I use DistroKid, and there are many other companies out there, but use whoever you like because they all kind of do the same service, maybe some better than others, and it depends on your experiences and what you're looking for and what you like. So I'm not telling you that one is better than the other. I'm telling you what I use and what works for me. Okay? Then you register your songs at www.copyright.gov. And I should preference that I'm American, so that's the way I do it here. If you're in foreign countries, you may have your own government set up to register your copyright. So most countries do respect other countries' copyrights. But if your music is released in Asia, Europe, and Caribbean, other places, you may want to check into that to make sure that you can get the proper crediting for your work. The 4th step is then you make sure your songs are registered at your PRO, your performing rights organization. I'm a member of ASCAP, so you want to make sure that your work can be linked to you, so you can be properly compensated for your work. And then your 5th step is your publishing administration, who's doing that back end stuff on the publishing company side to ensure that the I's and the T's are dotted. That's the way it works, okay? I've done that for the 4 projects that I've released. My 4 projects were in 2020. It was introducing the Brother AJ 7. The second project was in 2021, Never in My Life. The 3rd project was Let It Flow in 2022. And the last project, which I released just last year, December 7th on my birthday, was, I gotta take a deep breath to make sure I say it right. I see my screen over here. INS12L Me. A little bit of a tongue twister, mouthful. You gotta cop that project so you can understand why I named it that. There's a method to my madness. And I did every single one of those with every single one of these steps I just described to you. So I hope that can help you. Again, I'm just trying to give you that 50,000-foot high-level view that if you got work out there that you want to get into the world, don't be afraid, don't be intimidated. It's not as hard as you think it is. It's just putting some stuff together to make sure you can get it out into the universe, okay? As always, the Brother AJ trying to bring it to you live in a way that you can understand it so that you can jump in that deep into the water and start swimming with me, okay? Love you guys. Gotta go. Bye-bye. See ya.